Happy New Year for the 2023. Looking forward to a more positive 2023, and let's leave behind the negativities of 2022. Let's start with our projects, programs, and activities for 2023. And I would focus on providing safety for our residents and our visitors alike, in line with the 7-point agenda of our executive. We have the 7-point agenda on environment, land use and energy. The second agenda is the urban regeneration, the smart city management, climate and disaster resilience. The fifth is economic development and competitiveness, good governance, and empowering the youth. My priority is actually to provide safety for each and every one. We would be having ordinances to provide safety and protection measures of all residents along rivers and creeks, such as providing embankments and barriers along the water bodies. And also to ensure that all park goers will have, of course, a very good water source for its maintenance, and also to install water catchment areas. I would also want to have a clinic in parks. I remember going to parks and somebody collapsing or children being hurt, and we don't have emergency aids there. So one of our targets is to provide emergency clinics. As long as we have first aid, then our park goers will feel more secure. For the urban regeneration, we've been having several infrastructure projects, and up to now, walang natutuloy. Why? Because we lack the guidelines and parameters. We would like to have the setting of guidelines and parameters for all projects, such as the STP, to include the sewerage catchment tanks in low-lying areas of the city. We don't need another big STP, no? But for the low-lying, we can have catchment tanks. Construction of barangay multipurpose halls. There's no specific guidelines or parameters for this. It's not really set in place because the quality that are being built right now, it lacks that. Also ordinances for the rehabilitation of heritage structures and sites within Baguio City. Also guidelines and parameters in setting up of bus terminals in Baguio City. As we know, there's an ongoing talks already for a southbound terminal to be put up in the along Marcos Highway. And also guidelines and parameters of housing projects and resettlement areas. We should have also parameters for this. Well, for the smart city, I would like to implement the data privacy law here in the city of Baguio. We don't want other third parties to be looking into our records. The challenges, of course, is the budget, especially now that we have, how much is the budget that we just approved last week? 2.4 billion. But the annual investment plan that was submitted by the executive is 11 billion. Okay? So out of the 11 billion, you only have a 20% development fund out of the ERA. So where will you get the others? We have to have outside sources, and that is still what our executive is working on. The big challenge that we have right now is the traffic we are experiencing, especially during this season. The Christmas season, and of course this New Year and the upcoming Panagbanga, we would expect really more traffic. And how do we solve this? Well, one, as in the past, we ask public areas, if they have a big area like the schools, to open their area for parking, and also for tourists coming in to ride the bus, not to bring their private vehicles. If we can limit the number of vehicles coming in, that would help a lot in our traffic. For the hotels, once they're booked, just to stay in the hotel and use the public transportation. Yes, we lack parking, and we're working on that. There's already a parking building that are being built up the old tennis court, the area behind the athletic bowl, which is the youth conversion center. We have existing parking, but this will never be enough because the more parking we provide, even with our malls providing the parking, there will be more vehicles. Kasi may parking I'll bring my car. I still would push for our Smarter Roads Ordinance, which was forgotten. Down there in Marcos Highway, converging with Expressway. Ang ganda, di ba? And it's so orderly. And that's like a convergence of all northbound, southbound vehicles coming from Baguio. And it's a big rotunda. And it's only like 2 lane. We can do that at BGH. In our Smarter Roads Ordinance, 2 lanes is enough, 1 lane in the middle, and then the other one exiting. If you can just guide all these vehicles, kasi yung labasan naman nila 2 lane din eh. It's useless providing a 4 lane kung ang lalabasan mo naman is only 2 lane. There will always be a convergence and there will always be a traffic. It's a matter of making our roads smarter. The memorandum of agreement with the schools or big areas, no? That would be good to improve our parking. I'm sure with the memorandum of agreement, of course, the private owners will welcome that. That's an added income. As for our garbage, that was also another issue that I raised for 2022, that our plastic-free and styro-free Baguio was not really that properly implemented in the past years. And I've talked with SEPMO. They are already looking into that and would really implement it. Nako, problema talaga yan. And that is one of the things that we really have to focus on, this garbage. And I said, what are we doing with it? This one can shred it already. And then the shredded material can be mixed with to make bricks and hollow blocks. Even plastic, if it's shredded, it can be mixed, used as a building material. Biodegradable can be composted to be soil, no, as a fertilizer for soil. We should tap this technology. We should use this technology in our city. We really want also to implement these projects because these are very good projects. But the challenge is really the budget. And of course, we will already start doing all the design and guideline parameters so that it would be a smooth sailing.